Hey everyone, welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo Tales. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark. Thanks to everyone for tuning into another episode. Jenna, I'm really excited today. We're here to learn about our newest department, our newest habitats at the Cincinnati Zoo. Are you as excited as I am?
I'm very excited, and there's a lot of exciting news to come with this episode.
There is. Stay tuned. That's a little tease for later in the episode. Today we're being joined by Wendy Rice, who's the team leader of Siamang Point, our newest space at the Cincinnati Zoo, and Carli Reiber, who's a keeper over at Siamang Point as well. It's just the two of them over there right now. They comprise the entire Siamang Point team. We're really excited to hear about how everything's going. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
I mean, I think a lot of people know, and we kind of trashed Wendy the last episode for leaving the Africa department, but now she is the team leader over at Siamang Point for a little bit of change. So I'll ask you how that's going in just a second. But Carli, will you tell us just a brief synopsis of how you became a zookeeper in Siamang Point?
Yeah, I started interning in the primate department like in 2022, and then I became a seasonal at Jungle Trails for like a year and a half, and then was at primate centers like the gorillas and monkeys and stuff for like a year, and then now I'm at Siamang Point.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite species in Siamang Point right now?
I feel like it's kind of obvious because I've been working with primates for the past like 2 years. So I feel like I have to say Siamangs, but that's kind of like biased. But I mean, I like them all. It's been really fun.
I didn't know if your thoughts had changed since working with different ones.
Yeah, it's like you never know what you're going to fall in love with next. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I definitely think there are primate people and non-primate people. And the primate people are hardcore primate people, I feel like.
Yeah, like going into it, I didn't really have I want to work with this or that. And then I started in primates just kind of randomly, and I think they kind of got me. But this has been really fun to like get like the bird experience, the otters and our pheasants. Like it's been really fun.
Good. So you say the primates have kind of stuck with you. Is zookeeping something you always thought you wanted to do?
Yeah, it's always been something I wanted to do. I would come here as a little kid, and it was just ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Wendy, we know we just trashed you on your way out. We still have
really
love for you.
Her.
We still do have love for you. But will you tell us what you've been up to since you left Africa?
Besides missing Africa.
It's too late to suck up to us.
No, I did transition over to the Siamang Point team at the end of last year, and I've been there since. And yeah, it just felt like good timing for me, and I was excited to work in a new area with new animals and getting back to my roots a little bit. I did work with Asian species at Memphis before coming to Cincinnati, so I'm getting to revisit some of those species, which is cool that I'm at this point in my career and trying that stuff again.
I feel like you always like a new challenge, so it makes sense to me that you're ready for a new department. So we've mentioned it a little bit, but Siamang Point is called Siamang Point. We have Siamang gibbons, so that's part of the reason it's called Siamang Point. So Siamang gibbons, rhinoceros hornbills, Asian small-clawed otters, and what kind of pheasants?
Vietnam pheasants.
Vietnam pheasants. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a small but mighty department with some really fun, charismatic animals. So we want to hear about the animals, but tell us a little bit about like starting a new department. What are some of the challenges you faced? What are, the exciting things of being in a brand new department? Because Wendy did this already 11 years ago, back in 2014, so.
It was very different this time, I think because our team is just so tiny. And we do have to throw shout outs to Sarah Lembright and Michelle Greisinger. Sarah works with the elephant team and then jumps over and is with us 2 days a week. And Michelle Greisinger is a swing keeper, so she's a big part of our team as well. She's with us at least 1 day a week. So there are 4 of us technically, but yeah, I think the weirdest thing was just having just so few staffing. I mean, Carli and I we only overlap 1 day because of the way our schedule works. So we really only see each other 1 day a week on Wednesdays.
That's tricky, yeah.
And so different from Africa, where you would see like 7 people a day.
Yes, yeah.
Are you liking that? Or like, is it lonely, or is it less exhausting?
It's interesting because it's like I find myself like when cute and funny things happen, I like look around to like share it with someone in the moment, and I'm like, oh, it's just me. So we take a lot of pics and video and send it to each other throughout the day. Yeah, but it's been, I don't know, what do you think, Carli?
It's been like really interesting to say the least. It's been really fun, and like all of our animals besides the hornbills are new to the zoo, so it's been fun to be like, okay, like we're the first people to get to know these guys, like versus like when I came into the primate department, like everyone knows these animals, like everyone, they have like established relationships, so it's been really special and really cool.
That's such a good point. Yeah, you guys are the ones who are going to learn their personalities and what they like and dislike, and they'll bond to you first, so that's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it is. And we hope to be adding a Babirusa at some point. That's still working on red tape and paperwork, but yeah, I think that will probably round out our little department once we add that species. So fingers crossed that happens sooner rather than later.
And that would join the otters, correct?
That's part of why it's tricky right now. Yeah, timing got a little muddled up with otter babies. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. What are some of the, like Jen had kind of touched on it a little bit, what are some of the challenges you faced? Obviously it's not going to be easy. You're starting this from scratch. You're having to learn new routines. You're having to learn new animals, like Carli mentioned.
A new building. No one to show you, like, here's how you shift these animals.
Like, what do you think is the biggest challenge each of you have faced throughout this process?
I think that, like, we have not been able to have much consistency at any point. Like, every time we get used to something and every time our animals get used to something, something changes. Like, there's a modification that's happening, or the seasons are changing, or now we're adding public to the mix. So every time we feel like we get our footing, like, just kidding, we're changing it up again, which you guys, Jenna, will remember from the beginning. Africa was very much like that, too. But that's part of the fun, too. Like, no 2 days have felt the same. It's always interesting and challenging and different and exciting. But it definitely, you never know what you're walking into, it feels like.
Yeah. And, like, just, we only have, like we said, like, one overlap day. So it's like, okay, this changed today, tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I imagine communication would be extra
like,
tricky.
Yeah, like, we utilize Teams a lot.
Yeah, that's our Microsoft form that we do all of our communicating from. So we're, like, literally like, dear diary, today this and this and this and this, and it is kind of tricky making sure that your teammate who comes in the following day knows all of the changes with each, not even just species, but individuals. Like, individuals are having a whole different day now versus a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, a lot of communication, a lot of rolling with the punches and flexibility, and kind of like being able to go with the flow.
That makes sense. Will you guys tell us a little bit about all of the animals that you have over there now? Like, who's been your favorite? Who's kind of taken the most interest to you, or you to them? And tell us, like, their names.
Or start off.
Personalities.
Tell us each species. So let's
tell us
go,
each
like,
species.
Tell us the Vietnam pheasants, their names and your favorite things about them, or.
So Ellie and Marlin are our Vietnam pheasants, and we actually started taking care of them when I was still over here in Africa. We got to quarantine them in this space. Ellie and Marlin.
They're so cute.
They're so cute. And they're doing so good together. Ellie even laid a clutch of eggs, and they don't have a breeding recommendation, so they're not going to actually have chicks together, but that shows you how well they've bonded and how well they've done in their new space. It was tricky because we were a little nervous that the aviary down at Elephant Trek where they're housed is pretty exposed. Like, it feels pretty open, which is cool from a visitor standpoint because you can see them from like 360 degrees. But for a pheasant species that likes to be private, they're like, people all around me. So we were worried about how that adjustment would go for them, but they've done great. And they're getting more comfortable and familiar with staff as we spent time with them.
The next one. Are we
Gibbons?
Still,
tell them about Gibbons. Give them the Gibbons.
So we have Burb, or short for Burbak or Burback, which is actually a park in Indonesia.
Sumatra, I think.
Yeah, Sumatra. That has Siamangs in it, so that's what she is named after. She is 16, and then Sebastian is 11. They've been a lot of fun. They're still going through the introduction process, and sometimes that can take like up to a year. Just depends on your individuals. And this is her first time being paired with a male, so this is like a whole new ballpark for her. So it's been fun though.
Their backgrounds are interesting. But Burback was actually misgendered for most of her life. So they thought she was a male, and were housing her with a female. And I guess that was probably confusing for both of those girls for a while. Like, well, who was in charge here? And in that pairing, Burback ended up being the more dominant individual. So fast forward to her life here in Cincinnati, where she gets paired with Sebastian, who is genetically highly valuable to our population. So it's really important to our population under human care that Sebastian breeds and produces offspring. And he was also being housed with another female. He was the dominant animal in that situation. So we've got two animals that were both used to being like the alpha, and they're both trying to transition to like, well, one of us has to step down. Somebody's got to be in that beta role, and they're both, it's like a Mexican standoff, like who's going to blink first. So trying to help them navigate that is tricky. And then they are a monogamous species, so that when they breed and mate, they're together for life. So you can understand why they're taking their time with it, like looking at each other like, are you really my soulmate, or is there someone else out there for me? So so we understand that they need time to build that bond. We're trying to facilitate it and make sure that they feel comfortable around each other and that we're not getting in the way of things. But it's requiring a lot of patience from us. They're definitely moving slower than like what we would like. we're like, just love each other. Just, you're perfect together. Can't you see it? Just love each other.
It's got. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was just saying, I imagine they're pretty intelligent, and that can make training more difficult or easier in certain instances. Like, would you say they're easy to train? Have you trained any cool behaviors, or is it mostly working on bonding and getting them used to their habitat at this point?
I feel like both these individuals have been like really good little trainers, like very open to new things. But then it also is like trying to get them to like bond and like mend their relationship together. So it's a little bit of half and half, like working on things for their relationship and then also like doing training behaviors and whatnot.
What kind of behaviors have you guys been working on?
Well, we do like body presentations, so they know like hand, foot, tongue, smash your nose open, mouth.
Carly's been working on like blood draw injections and stuff in her back.
Ultrasounds or blood draws.
We just started working on chest and belly presentations because we are anticipating these guys do have a breeding recommendation, and when we feel like they've bonded well enough that we can let them breed, we hope to have babies in the future. So we're thinking like being able to do ultrasounds will be good.
Yeah.
And if she's carrying the baby on her chest, asking her to like lean in, can we take a look at the baby? So we're working on chest presentation, and she's picked it up so quick.
Yeah, she
literally
does
like
really
in
well.
3 or 4 days. She's like wham, just
That's amazing.
shoving that chest right up there for us, and her little belly too. They are smart, but like Carly said, I think the primary focus has been the social dynamics, and they're really, I have never worked with a species who will, like, even though there's social dynamics going on, if you have food, they're like, yeah, what's up? What are we doing? Not these guys. Literally, you could have the tastiest treat in the world, and they're like, give us a minute because we're having a thing between the two of us. So it's really wild, like, having to respect and understand and work around those social dynamics outside of our own, like, agenda each day is really tricky and requires a lot of patience.
Yeah, that would be tricky. It's got to be difficult for them because, you know, they meet each other, they're getting used to each other, they meet you guys, these new keepers that are taking care of them, and then they're in this new space as well, right? Will you talk a little bit about the habitat that they're in? Because I know I've seen some videos online. It looks like they are starting to utilize that kind of like overhead walkway that goes over the public path, which looks really cool. Has that been like, that's got to be a tough adjustment for them, right?
You see
like,
cool, I see tricky.
it's tricky for them for sure. Cool for the visitors, but yeah.
Yeah, they Sebastian, the zoo he was at, they had the Invisinet stuff, so it wasn't as much of, still the tunnel is like a scary thing at first, like what is this? Where are we going? And it's where they have to shift from inside all the way out is like very far.
It's pretty far.
It's not just like open the door, we're outside. So Sebastian did pretty well with it like initially, and he was doing good, and then it was a big adjustment for Verb.
Yeah.
So it took her some time to get the confidence to go out there, but they both shifted it really well.
Right.
They both are doing really good with
And
the tunnel.
we had to learn, we figured out through trial and error that she is far more comfortable shifting out by herself. Initially we're like, go out together, and we figured out that them both being in that more confined space made her really nervous, that if they had an altercation, Burb's like go-to is like, I don't want to be a part of this, let's run away, but she feels like she can't do that in that space. So we finally realized, let's try shifting them one at a time, and that has been so much smoother. Her confidence has like gone through the roof. And it's so fun. I mean, guests love seeing them in that tunnel.
Describe it a little bit, like the tunnel, what it looks like.
So we have our night house on one side of our area of the zoo, and then they've got to go at probably 150 feet through an overhead chute tunnel system, transfer system, that right over top of our guests, literally right over the public pathway, right over the otter habitat to get into their habitat, which is closer to the actual elephant track. So it's really cool. It looks amazing, but there's also like, there's a real chance that if you're standing in the wrong spot at the wrong time, you will be close enough to care, shall we say. A code brown
Watch
or a
out.
code yellow. Yeah.
Watch out below.
Code brown. We never have to use that in our department.
Maybe for Tucker one day.
Oh, that's a good point. Actually, we do.
Tucker does a code brown from time to time. Yeah, we've worn, and it's always these children stand directly underneath.
Mouths open,
yes,
probably.
like wide-eyed open mouth, because they're like living in the moment, and I'm like, no, get out of the way.
So here's some advice for anybody listening. If you have a child, or yourself, if you're underneath this tunnel watching the gibbons go out, keep your mouth shut and keep your eyes open.
Yes.
You're in the
Pay
danger
attention.
zone.
Right. Be ready to move. Yeah. Yep.
They go when they have to go. So do you put Verb out first, or okay? So once she's out in the bigger space, then she's good, and then Sebastian can just follow. That's definitely something I think is an interesting part as a zookeeper's job is to figure out like what the animals need to get them to do things that, you know, make their lives easier and our lives easier, and it's like figuring out their personalities and how this would work best. And I think those are some of the, like, I'm sure frustrating but fun challenges too once you get it.
Like, right. It is the like the puzzle of like once you fix it, you're like, yes, they're happy, we're happy, this is working, we're grooving. Yeah, it's a good feeling as a keeper when you can work your way through those struggles.
Do they have a favorite food? I've been here twice now. When I saw Burback, I had to ask Wendy about this the other day. Like, she just sits in the grass and touches the end of a log and then licks her fingers, and she does it again, and so I was like, is there sap? What is? And I couldn't really
Did you put
see.
peanut butter on the log?
And I thought it was adorable and such like great enrichment, because instead of like what a dog would do or whoever would just lick it with their tongue and get like a good amount at once, she just like lazily, like comfortably sits there and then touches a little dot of peanut butter, licks it. Right. I was like, this is so
She's
cute.
snacking all
and
day
it's
long.
right in front of the guests. Like, it was so fun to watch. Is that one of her favorites, or is it she have lots of favorites?
Yeah, like peanut butter is probably their top fave.
Yeah.
Second fave, maybe peanuts. That's peanut butter.
Right.
Yeah.
peanuts, grape jelly, and grapes.
Yeah,
in general.
grapes.
Yeah.
What is their main diet and like their natural history?
They're mostly like frugivores.
Okay.
They're eating a lot of fruit in the wild.
Okay.
Figs would make up a huge part of their diet in their native habitats.
Okay.
We don't have a ton of figs in their diet here. We're actually hoping to work on that. We've been talking to like our horticulture teams, and then thinking about planting out at Mass Farm some fig trees so that we can harvest our own figs and be able to offer them. So yeah, that's like a long-term dream and goal we have for that species.
And then, like, the Siamang gibbons, out of all the gibbons, are supposed to be the gibbons that eat the most browse. But these individuals don't really eat a whole lot. It's like hit or miss.
They're
Okay.
picky. They're spoiled. I mean, when there's peanut butter around.
Right.
But Burback loves some grass, too. I mean, girl gets down on that grass in that habitat. She eats so much of it. It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
That's part of the luxury of being a zoo animal, right? Is like you get to be picky about what you eat.
Yeah.
You're like, I've got so many options here. I can choose the best option. I don't need to
Right.
eat browse. if
We're
I
not
don't want
letting anyone go hungry, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Well, one of the animals I'm really excited about. I love birds. Obviously, will you tell us a little bit about the hornbills and how they're doing over there?
Yeah.
So they're one of the only ones that's not new animals to our zoo, right?
Right.
Yes.
We're already at our zoo.
Yeah, Blake and Remy were in our birdhouse. So you would have been familiar with seeing them inside of the birdhouse the last time you visited. And they've moved over to Siamang Point. They are a sibling pair. So they are our non-breeding group, sibling group out there. And they're a ton of fun. I've been really surprised at like how destructive, how inquisitive, how curious they are. Like, they have big personalities to go with like that big bird and the big cask. Like, everything about them has been fun and surprising and interesting. And they are just so fun to enrich. Like, we will give them 10 plus things to do in a day, and they'll do all of them and then revisit them later. Like,
What are some of these things? What do they like to do?
It's just like wrapping things in paper. They love ripping paper apart.
Boxes. They like wiffle balls.
Yep.
We give them live fish now.
Oh,
they
nice.
kind of Remy's kind of messed with that a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen Blake, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, he's the more
usually
destructive one.
Wait, I would have guessed they were frugivores. Do
They
they?
are.
Okay, but they're just interested in the fish.
They'll occasionally catch lizards or
Okay.
frogs.
Yeah.
They eat insects and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that. It's not a huge part of their diet, but they're not going to turn down easy
Okay.
food.
They are so impressive to
They
see.
are.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful, and their habitat seems really nice and sunny and just gorgeous for them.
We've been working on target and station training with them as well, and Blake, our male especially, is super comfortable. Like, he flies back and forth across the habitat when we ask him to, so we love going out there and hearing our guests behind us do the whoa, like, get that cool reaction.
Yeah, their
from them.
wingspan is huge. What would
Yes.
you say it is?
I think it's like 5 feet.
Oh, I think it's like 6.
You think 6?
I think I've read like 5 or 6 feet. Yeah, and I know that like standing they're about 3 feet tall.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that they're in a space now where they can fly around and exhibit that
Yes.
behavior and show off to guests and everything like that. I know I chatted with some of the bird team and they were just so happy with how they're doing out there in their new space and being able to be outside in the elements and exposed to sunlight, all day long.
Yeah, and they love the sun. Well, they love the sun. They love the rain too.
Oh, really?
I always say, like, if we're trying to shift them in, they're malfunctioning. Like, they're like sitting out there just like, we love it out here. We're not moving.
And they literally melt in the sun. They will like flop over into like all these hilarious, like they look like something is wrong with them, but they're just like soaking up the sun. You'll see them with their necks bent and their wings all like drooped out. They just love it. Yeah, they're clearly very, very happy in their new space.
Awesome.
That's awesome. What about our otters? Tell me about the group we've got over there.
the group now.
Exciting.
Yeah, the full group we've got over
Exciting
there.
things going on with the
Gangs here.
otters.
Yeah. So we have our Ohio otters. Flounder came to us from the Columbus Zoo, and then Moonty came to us from the Cleveland Zoo. So we're keeping it in the Ohio family. And they were like instantly bonded. I mean, it was so adorable. Like the first time that we let them have like howdy access to each other, Moonty bounded across the stall and like flung herself at the mesh trying to get to Flounder. Like she was
Yeah, and Moonty had gotten pushed out of her natal group in Cleveland, so she was kind of solo for a little bit. So when she saw Flounder, she was like, "Oh my gosh,
right. Yeah, boy." And like, yeah, they've been great, and we've seen breeding almost since we introduced them.
Yeah.
But Flounder had a birth control implant put in him. It was part of one of the strategies they were using to manage an all-boy group. They were having aggression issues. One of the thoughts was like maybe if we tamp down the testosterone with these hormones to balance it out. They knew it would make him infertile, at least temporarily, but it was supposed to help with the aggression. Fast forward, and we learned it doesn't help with the aggression, but hey, you live and learn. And we also didn't know if or when he would be able to breed after that. So we have just been working diligently with them. Carli's focused on ultrasound behaviors with Moonty, and I've also trained her for radiographs, voluntary x-rays.
Nice.
And we, every single month, would do one or the other to just try to know if she was ever pregnant. And it was just like month after month of like, nope, 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 nope. And then one day, Moonty got just a little chunky looking, like a little chunky. And then mammary development is one of the first indicators that there might be pregnancy in an otter as well. So we started seeing like some development with her nipples, and we were like, let's ask the vets to come back over. So they came over and did ultrasound with Carli, and
Yeah, we saw a babies in there.
We didn't know how many at the time, but and we'll go into that. But I have a question. Do you think maybe because they're teeny tiny even now that they're born, and we'll have you guys tell us about their recent physical exams and all of that exciting stuff, but do you think maybe they were just so tiny for, how long is their pregnancy? Not long at all, right?
68 to 72 days.
So like maybe just they're
70 days.
so small for such a long period of time, and then they just like, get bigger at the very end. And they have, otters in general, I don't know much about Asian small-clawed otters, but I would assume their fur is also insanely dense. Like, do you think that was maybe the babies were like super small at the point that the fur would have kept you from seeing them? Or do you think...
Like Moonty's fur during the ultrasound?
Yeah. Do you think it, or like...
Dr. Mike
they were
even
just too-
mentioned that before, like the density of the fur can make it tricky.
Yeah.
Because if you guys were doing it like every month and then suddenly they're...
Because the one before the actual positive pregnancy ultrasound, we didn't see anything, so that could have...
But she had been pregnant at that point,
We
right?
now
She
know.
was
Had to.
surprised.
Yeah, she had to have been
Yes,
pregnant.
it was a surprise.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, that was actually kind of, it's frustrating for us because we were so diligent in like checking every month, and then once we realized that she was pregnant, we scheduled an x-ray not long after that, because the idea being like if the fetal skeletons have calcified, maybe we can count and we'll at least know how many babies to expect. And when we did the radiograph, we couldn't see significant calcification, not enough to actually count skulls or spines or anything like that. And our vets are like, we probably still have a little ways to go. And then they were born a week later.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so, we felt really dumb because I was like, man, when we did the math here, we really thought we knew what that birth window would be. But it just goes to show you, in our industry, even when you think you know, we're still always learning and still always adding to our pool of knowledge to share with like all keepers around the world with any species you're working with. So yeah, she surprised us. But I mean, we at least knew to expect babies. We just didn't know when.
Yeah.
But kudos to you guys for being able to train those behaviors. Like, you only got these animals a few months
that's a good
months ago
point.
into your care, and to be able to train those behaviors and keep up on it. I know, like, sometimes you keep seeing it's a no, it's a no, it's a no. It almost is just in your head, like, if I miss this month, I miss this month, because it's probably not going to happen, right? But you guys were really diligent about it, so props for that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, we've alluded to it, we've talked about it, it's been announced on our social media, but tell us about your exciting news with this pregnancy. No longer pregnancy.
So Moonty gave birth on May 9th, and it was fun. I came in that morning, and I actually had one of our volunteers working with me, because again, small team, so we take help wherever we can get it. And we called them for like breakfast, like their usual routine, and they were not Moonty was not coming out of the nest box, and Flounder was sitting at the front of it, kind of guarding it. And I heard squeaking from inside the nest box, and initially thought it was Moonty. I'm like, "What are you doing in there? Why are you so quiet? What's going on?" And then I was like, "Wait a second, did it happen?
Moonty.
Right?
That does not sound like Moonty.
Right? Did this happen?" So we have cameras in that stall, thankfully, and I asked Rachel, my volunteer, to start reviewing footage. And after a little while, she's like, "Oh yeah, I see Flounder carrying a baby around," and we're like, "Wow, all right, we got babies." We didn't know at the time how many there were, and we have gotten lots of feedback from other facilities that like one of the primary things you need to do, especially with first-time parents, is give them privacy, give them space. So there wasn't like jump in there and pull the nest box open and figure it out. It was very much like, "Oh, okay, here's your breakfast. I'm gonna go now." So for the first, first 2 weeks essentially, it was mostly just offering them food, cleaning as minimally as possible, and giving them lots of space and privacy. And then
Wait, when were they born?
May 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been that long already.
Only 2 weeks today, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, it feels longer somehow. And then fast forward to Wednesday afternoon, we decided that we thought it was finally safe enough to try and do a nest check. So we've been working on getting them outside into the habitat for little breaks of time away from the pups.
Yeah. In the evenings, they've been seeming more... In the mornings, they seem more like, we're going to stay in the nest for a while and do baby things. And then in the evenings, they've been a little more apt to like, we are ready to go swim, we're ready to go outside, the babies are good, we need a break. So we've been practicing like shifting them out in the afternoons, and that had been going well, so that's why we kind of opted to do a nest check and at late in the evening, which has been like their time to go out. So that's when we attempted it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what did you find?
Well, we confirmed 4 babies officially.
4 babies. That's so
That's
exciting.
awesome.
Is there an average litter number?
They can have up to 7. 3, 4, and 5 seem to be like
Okay.
the most common numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. And that also seems to be the sweet spot for this species, like in terms of like pup survival rates, that they tend to do best in litters of 3, 4, or 5. Which makes sense, because Mama's got like 4 nipples she's working with, so like 5's probably
7's
tricky.
tough.
Yeah, 7
Yeah,
we gotta
imagine.
have a lot of cooperation
Yeah.
going on. But yeah, we're grateful that for like being a first time mom, she's got 4, and then we found out 4 boys, which I'm still
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
right.
luck.
Yes.
Minty. Good luck, Minty.
I feel nervous announcing because, like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
4 boys, and then, like, watch one of them be misgendered, and we have to come back later and be like, just kidding.
Yeah.
There was a girl hiding in there, but it's pretty. I mean, it's fairly easy to
Yeah.
tell with otters, so
Okay.
we're pretty confident.
They all looked the same.
Yes.
they're all...
Yeah, they're either all boys or they're all misgendered. Pretty
I'm sure you
boys.
guys got it right. So 4 male baby otters, and there was a video that they showed that you guys were weighing them during this check,
Yeah.
and I was blown away. Did you see how much they weigh?
I've not seen this yet. No.
Trivia for Mark.
Oh,
I was
goodness.
blown away at how, like, I shouldn't be shocked, but I've never seen one in person or anything at what they weigh. So little. So in grams, how many?
I was about to say, I was going to guess, like, because, they're completely helpless when they're first born.
Yeah.
At this point, they're 2 weeks old. I'm going to guess, like, 200 grams.
Pretty close.
Close,
Yeah.
yeah, too. They're just, our biggest one was like 188 grams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other 3 were like 167, 169, 171, I think. Yeah.
So what are they when they're first born is what I want to know.
Right?
Can you imagine?
Tiny.
Oh my goodness.
I think it's like, what, 500-ish grams is 1 pound, right? So they're...
They say that they're about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces is like the
Okay.
numbers that we saw for when they're born. Yeah.
That's
Oh my
insane. Yeah,
goodness.
500 grams is
It's
about a pound. Yeah.
So
The zoo
They're-
said like a chicken nugget. Essentially like the size of a chicken, like the same weight as
Okay,
a
but-
chicken nugget.
wait, but like size-wise, how, like, as big as your hand? Now I need to go
like,
back and watch the
first
video.
video
Little-
that we got of them was Flounder trying to like carry 2 at once.
Yeah.
That
I saw
video.
that video.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like tiny then.
Yeah,
they were
real
like,
tiny.
Because
yeah.
the adults are tiny compared to our river otters and sea otters.
Yeah,
So
they're the smallest otter species. Yes, cute little babies.
So when you guys were able to review the footage, I'm just curious, like, how the logistics of it worked out. Did they not give birth in the nest box, and they had to carry him across the stall, or was Flounder just taking him out of the nest box and doing his own? He's a first-time dad.
Right.
He's figuring it out.
He very much had. It felt like watching him have this oh my god moment. Like, what do I do? Like, literally just carrying a screaming pup around, and then he just brings it back to the.
Like, why did I take this to begin with?
Yes, I probably shouldn't have moved it. He just brings it back.
I'm glad you guys had a nest box set up because, like you mentioned, you weren't expecting them that soon. So
right,
really.
Yeah. Thankfully, very much like a nervous planner, and literally the night before, Carli, we had like baby-proofed the stall. We're like, let's get it ready just so we're not having to worry about it. We got nest boxes in, we got all of the dangerous like baby items out. And Carli literally did that the night before.
Wow.
And then it was just by coincidence because of the weather, Carli also locked them in that night. They didn't have habitat access.
Yeah.
And I would bet Moonty would have had them on habitat.
She had a big nest going out there.
Oh,
the day
really?
that day
what
on
was she
habitat.
making it with?
So they nest with wood wool.
Okay.
And then like they also sometimes like their burlap sacks are incorporated in there somehow, or straw.
They'll drag
she
some
was just-
sod in there
Yeah.
if they can get it away, like a
Yeah.
whole clump with the roots and dirt and
Yeah.
everything. And
She
stuff
was
in
like,
there.
I know I need this soon, so I'm going to start. Oh, wow.
That should have tipped us off. Like, seeing that nest the next
guess
day,
It
I'm
was
like,
huge.
oh yeah.
It was huge.
Now you'll know for next time too. Like
Yes.
all of her
Yeah.
signs. Like that's the tricky
Yeah.
part about
Yeah.
starting off with animals that no one here has worked with before. You don't know them, and
Yeah.
even just a new species. Like you can ask other zoos and people that have worked with them what to look for. But I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah,
Like,
we got
wow.
lucky. Carli had
All
good
the-
instincts.
All the stars aligned that day.
Yeah.
Is there a naming plan? Like, will you guys name them? Will the zoo do anything? Do you know yet?
Well, I don't know when this will come out, but World Otter Day is next Wednesday, and we will have an otter baby name suggestion box.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
so
very cool.
today is the 23rd. So next Wednesday is. Let's see. Why can't I do this?
It's like I can't even.
The 28th. So May 28th is World Otter Day.
Yes.
And you guys are going to have a baby naming.
It's just a little
Suggestion
box.
box.
Yeah, you can drop
Yeah.
your ideas
Perfect.
in.
Oh,
Yep.
dang, this
We
is
want
going to
your
come out,
ideas.
I think, Thursday. So, listeners,
The
it's
day
just
after.
been World Otter Day.
If you visited the zoo and you saw the
Yes.
baby box, hopefully you threw something in there for us because we need some ideas.
Yeah, maybe we can get it out Wednesday morning to
We're
celebrate.
gonna come up with 4 names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love a good theme, so
I was about to say, we
I might have
have
to come down with some suggestions.
Yeah, we've had some good themes in this department
Yes,
over the
we have.
years. Yeah.
Aw, that's so fun and exciting.
So what kind of what's the next stage that you guys are expecting for this babies? Like obviously I'm sure they're still in the nest box, they're still pretty immobile, they need care from their parents. Like when do you expect them to be moving around, venturing out of the nest box, maybe even venturing onto habitat at some point? Like
I think the first big milestone that we're waiting for is for their eyes to open. So at this point, their eyes are still shut.
still after 2 weeks, still
Yeah,
shut.
they don't even
Oh my
crawl
goodness.
yet. Like even when we opened the nest box and checked on them, they're just like sitting there like meow, meow, like just sitting in one spot crying. Like I can't even move on my own. Like
Oh my goodness.
they're really quite pathetic in the beginning, and they don't know how to swim yet either. So their mom and dad are gonna have to teach them how to swim. So as they get older and start to progress through all these different milestones, we'll start adding shallow little pans of water for them to
That'll
explore
be
in.
fun to see.
Yeah, and then progressively make things deeper for them. It looks like, eyes opening tends to happen between 17 and 47 days, so we have that coming up. Thermoregulating on their own at 38 days. Begin to play 49 to 53. So
Ooh,
that's like
fun.
7-week mark. We can
Wow,
expect
okay.
them to probably start venturing out of the nest boxes, and we can start getting a little bit more video and pictures to share with guests. But probably for the next 4 weeks, it's probably going to be pretty contained and still only getting peeks at them and mostly just hearing them. Be my
So
guess.
visitors won't get to see them for a little while, but it's what's best for them. But maybe by
Midsummer
like July or
sometime, yeah.
something, we could possibly see them.
I think our most ambitious assessments, it's like I think they need to have their first round of vaccines as well, and that can't happen until 8 weeks. So maybe the 8 or 9 week mark, if they've done well enough in the deep water pools indoors, we might be able to let them start going out onto habitat. I think if we want to set expectations appropriate, probably 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Say 2.5 months, you might be able to see peaks of them out on habitat with mom and dad.
Well, that'll be a popular
That
spot.
will be. So mom and dad still get some outside time right now, or does that just depend on the day? It kind of varies.
Whatever they want to do. Like we make sure if they're going out, we have to like monitor them because we don't want them trying to get any babies to swim right now, obviously. They don't even have eyes open yet. So we monitor them so they can go over to their pool in their other stall, and then also they can go out if they want. So sometimes you might get to peek at them when they're outside for their 5 or 10 minute break from baby time.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're being good parents then. They're doing what they're
Yes.
supposed to
Yes.
do. Yeah.
We've been
Yes.
pleasantly surprised. Both of them are incredibly attentive. And, like, granted, Flounder, you can't nurse them, but he is guarding that nest box. He comforts them when Moonty does leave to go eat. He's in there, like, you can tell, like, trying to shush them and cuddle them and probably, like, keep them happy and stuff. He has not been bringing her fish, which...
Yeah. He's supposed to.
Rude.
Step up
Yes.
his game. Yeah, come on, buddy.
kind of that's the least you could do. But Moonty has no trouble coming out to get her own fish. So I guess he figures she's fine. No, but they're doing great.
Oh, that's awesome.
And what's the typical diet for these guys look like? Is it mostly fish, shellfish, anything like that? Yeah.
A lot of shellfish in the wild, like lots of like mollusks and crustaceans and things like that. Here at the zoo, they get smelt, capelin, shrimp is high on the. Moonty gets down on some shrimp. They get clams and mussels. We feed them krill as an enrichment item too, and then they get one of those, you know, like kibble foods that most of our animals get. That's nutritionally balanced and kind of fills in all the holes. But live fish day is hugely popular too.
That's
Oh,
fish days
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
Will you do those on habitat for the guests to see at any point? Can it go?
Yeah.
Can we put them out, fish out in those pools?
Yeah.
The outdoor pool? I
Yeah, that's
can't
what we
talk.
usually do. Yeah, it's like
Fun.
on Thursday around noonish.
Awesome. People can
anyone's
come
ever
watch
in
them
there, yeah.
hunting fish. That's
Yeah.
so
I'm
fun.
gonna have to swing down for lunch one day. Check that out. Yeah, that sounds
No.
amazing.
Oh, that's so fun. I feel like it was a lot all at once for you guys, but hopefully
In a
it's-
whirlwind.
Yes. So many changes. Is there anything else in your department that we should talk about before trivia, or anything else you want to tell us about the otters? Or
I think that's it. Just keep sending us the good vibes and the good karma and the good luck. We'll take all of it. And yeah, we'll try to share updates and pics and videos as often as we can get them. But we very much appreciate everyone's patience and understanding, knowing that these guys need quite a bit of privacy still, and probably for coming weeks. So we will share as we're able.
that would be hard as keepers too, to have them hidden so much and you like not getting to
I
see
just
them
want to see
daily.
them.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, let's do some trivia.
Yeah, I've got trivia for everyone. Jen, it's your favorite kind of trivia.
Oh dear,
We got
numbers.
true and false.
Oh,
True,
yeah.
this is actually, I'm not being sarcastic. This is actually your favorite. We got true and false set up for today.
My favorite.
So,
I have a chance.
50-50.
so this is, we just talked about all the good news with our otters. This is Asian small clawed otter themed trivia today. So first question we've got, otter related. True or false? There are 13 species of otters.
I know the answer.
Yeah, true. Right?
True. They
True.
said true. Wait, I don't think you mentioned this. Obviously, they're an Asian species, but what parts do they live in, or what type of habitat do they live in?
Oh, these guys are pretty versatile, actually. So they're found in Southeast Asia, but all over Southeast, even India, China, Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Borneo, Java. Like, they're all over the place. And they can be found even in urban environments. These guys are surviving. They're starting to live in farmers' rice paddies and on tea plantations, which is not always a great thing. Sometimes there's conflict there. But they're very versatile. One thing that's cool about them is they're considered an indicator species. So scientists say that if otters are in a space and they're thriving, that's a healthy ecosystem. That's a really good indicator that things are going well.
That's awesome that you're seeing them everywhere then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing, yeah.
So they're not endangered?
They are,
dang,
but I
okay.
think they're considered like vulnerable. They're not critically endangered.
Okay.
They're not in terrible shape at this point. Being prolific breeders, I'm sure helps. They can have 2 litters in a year.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys might, well, I guess we can use birth control here, but it's like you might see a lot of babies in your days.
Yeah, we were already thinking about like, oh boy, we got to start planning for the
Yes.
next one. Yeah.
For the next one, or if we want to wait until we have the next
Yeah.
one, yeah. Seriously, yeah, 13 otter species, and Wendy had mentioned it earlier, they are the smallest of all the otter species. Adults, you guys please correct me if I'm wrong, all the research I've done, it looks like adults weigh between 8 to 10 pounds,
Yeah.
which is just
Yep.
so
Yep.
small.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a house cat bigger than that.
Oh man, they're precious, that's for sure. Next question I've got for you. Asian small-clawed otters prefer to hunt and forage independently. True or false?
I think it's false.
It's true.
It's true?
Yeah, they don't help each other. Every man for themselves when they're hunting.
I was shocked to see this when I did this research, because I'm like, they're a communal species, they live in large groups, but then it sounds like when they go to forage and hunt, screw off. I'm just going by myself.
I guess they do kind of do their own thing when they're out on habitat, but they're so social and their groups can be so big, you wouldn't really think
it makes sense in the sense that they aren't hunting animals larger than themselves, right? So like they don't need help to grab a fish. Like how would they
cooperate?
Yeah, how would they? I guess they could be cooperative, but like to school fishing or something. But it makes sense to me in the sense that they aren't like going after something bigger than them.
Yeah, taking down a large prey or anything. I was surprised to see that, but yeah, they do prefer to hunt and forage independently. They are very social, though, like we've talked about. True or false, Asian small-clawed otters have 12 distinct vocalizations that they can use to communicate.
Should I guess?
What's your guess?
I'm going to guess true.
True.
I want to say at least 12.
It's true,
Yeah.
They said they've identified 12 at this point, but they think there may be more as they're continuing to do research on it. I'll say, do you guys notice that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, notice the distinct
Oh,
calls.
yeah. I was like, have you figured any of them out yet? With the meerkats, I was able to figure out a few, like, I could tell, like, what it sounded like, and I feel like I'm too busy these days, but I was wondering if you guys could tell, like...
There's definitely, like, their begging for breakfast call. There's, like, open this door call.
Yeah.
There's their, like, getting each other's attention. Like, when they go looking for each other, I can't mimic them well enough. And then there was a whole different call when we were doing nest box checks.
Yeah.
And they were out on habitat. Once they realized we were handling the babies and they heard them crying, they both, like... a whole nother vocalization came out when they were trying to get back to those babies, and we were like, "We're sorry,
We're almost done."
right?
We just gotta do physicals.
Right? So quick. But yeah, definitely, and they do a lot of talking throughout the day. They're chatty.
That's fascinating. It's always interesting. Like you guys have said, you're kind of learning these things as you go. Like it's interesting to see what means what, and when they're talking to each other, that they have their own language that they use differently with you two. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Cool animals. All right, next up we've got true or false. They're monogamous. I think Wendy may have mentioned something about this. They're monogamous pairs and are known to breed for life, or to mate for life. True or false?
Oh, we were talking about the gibbons when she
We were
was
talking about the
talking
gibbons. That's right. Okay,
Yeah, definitely
True,
Yeah.
It is true. I thought that one was really interesting too. Like,
wait, and rhinoceros hornbills also, right?
Yeah.
They're
That's
all
the fun thing we love to tell people is like all the animals at Siamang Point are loud and monogamous.
Yes.
All have those two things in common.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt for you guys.
Loud and monogamous.
that is crazy though. What are the odds of that? That all
I know.
your species are monogamous? That's wild. Especially kind of like we had mentioned with them foraging independently. I thought like, they live in communal groups, maybe season to season, they mate with another individual, but no, they pair for life, which is always fun to see. True or false, Wendy and Jenna may have a step up on this because they have kids. There's a famous Disney show featuring otters, and it is named after a popular lunch sandwich. True or false?
Peanut butter and jelly.
My kiddos know.
It's true. It's peanut butter and jelly. You never saw this? PB&J otters? You never saw it?
No, but that makes sense because you just put peanut butter and jelly together. Popular sandwich. No, I should look it up.
I guess it's just me. Yeah,
Is
PB&J
it old?
otter.
Is it still on?
I don't know if it's still on or not, but I remember when I was growing up. So
Oh, okay.
25 years ago, probably. Yeah.
I'm amazed our boys haven't discovered
Yeah, right?
it. It's probably just a matter of time.
But when you said I almost blew my trivia question because when you said a theme for the otter names, the first thing I thought of was PB&J, especially
Or sandwiches.
or sandwiches. Ooh.
Oh my
There's some options here.
Wow.
We can
Have fun with this.
Types of jelly.
But yeah, they're named fruit.
Raspberry, strawberry, jam.
In the show, the kids are named Peanut, Butter, and Jelly.
Ah,
there's
okay.
3 kids.
But
Yeah.
we need a fourth.
But I will say I'm disappointed. You guys went 5 for 5. I thought I was going to Jedi mind trick you by having all my answers be true. I was like, they're going to be ready for a false answer. They're going to
I didn't
and
think
you
of that.
guys completely had me figured out.
Didn't even cross my mind.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Oh, man. Well, Jenna, do you have anything else for Wendy and Carli while we've got them here?
Just the final question. What can I do? Is there anything I can do to be a better steward of the earth, to help take care of wild otters? Anything you guys do?
Yeah, we chatted about this a little bit right before the podcast about how one thing about Asian small-clawed otters specifically, and we mentioned like their size and they're cute and they're adorable, and unfortunately they fall victim to the exotic pet trait quite a bit, and you will be exposed to them on social media. So if you have liked or loved an otter or anything, your algorithm is probably going to feed you content of somebody with a pet otter at home doing something really cute. And we're just going to try to encourage you not to engage with that content. Don't like it, don't comment on it, don't share it. If it's very obvious that this otter is in somebody's home and is a pet, that's not a good situation for that otter. That's not something that we want to condone or reinforce in any way, shape, or form. So if you need your otter fix, please try to find it through social media platforms of accredited zoological institutions or rehab facilities or something like that. Try to avoid influencers with a pet otter because they're a social species. Like, they can't have their best quality of life living alone in somebody's house.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And you had mentioned, like, our zoo's putting out some social media content about our otters, but not just us. You know, we've got, these otters came from Columbus and Cleveland, right? So I'm sure, you know, local zoos in the area, they've also got content that they're putting out about our otters. And there's good places that you can go to that will steer you in the right direction. But I think that's really good advice. Yeah, try not to give all the likes and comments and subscriptions to these people that are not using the otters for the purpose that's good for the otter, right? It's good for them and their content, but not good for the otters.
Yeah, definitely. And if you need a little more content, Carli discovered recently that Mooty's already a star.
Yeah, she's
No
on Netflix.
way.
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah,
She has a show?
well, not just for her.
We need to make this happen, though.
It was called like Baby Cam, or it's some like Netflix series where they like they'd streamed like cameras at different zoos.
Oh wow.
And one of our volunteers sent me a picture the other day, and it was like a little snippet, and it said like Moonty has pet rocks or something like that, and it was like yeah, because she was like, was she born in Cleveland? And I was like, yeah, and she's like, she's on Netflix,
Yeah. So you can go look for Moonty on Netflix.
There you go.
Yeah. For sure.
I can't believe Fiona doesn't have a Netflix show.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right. Say, that's waiting to be made right there. Jenna, there's your $1 million idea. That's your retirement plan.
Oh, well, thank you, ladies, for being here and telling us all about your new department and all of the exciting things going on. It'll be so fun to see all of the changes as they, you know, the Siamangs bond and maybe babies in the future, these baby otters coming out to see everyone. And it's just a gorgeous area of the zoo, and the elephants are right there. So you might have been down to Elephant Trek, and it's been open for what, like a month now? Siamang Point.
Yeah.
So you'll veer left if you're going to Siamang Point, which was just blocked off if you haven't been here in the last month. So check it out. And yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And Carli, Wendy, thanks again for joining us. Thank you for all the amazing work you're doing down there. Love hearing about it. I'm sure we'll have you back on next time we have a baby down there. So we'll have you on call.
Please do.
For baby otter updates.
That's
Nice.
right.
Naming announcements.
Alrighty, thanks again, everyone. Thanks for listening.